So in this video, I want to talk about the one thing that will help you break your first SMMA sale. Now, it's not going to be a script. It's not going to be some kind of hack. It's not even going to be some kind of long, drawn out, extensive study through a Google Doc. What this is a simple shift. Now, it's simple, but it may take a little bit more time than, 24 hours. It may take a little bit of time, but it won't actually take that long in the scheme of things if you understand it and you apply it. Now, if you look at all of the most influential people on the earth right now, could be Donald Trump, could be Kanye West, it could be Russell Brand. All of these people have what I call status. Now, status is basically where when somebody looks at you, they have a level of respect, they have a level of deference, and they view you as some sort of authority. Now, this has got nothing to do with age. This almost has nothing to do with experience, although experience can play into it. This all has to do with the current belief and inner state of the person. Now, I've been on calls with people who are 30 years old who have extremely low status. They view themselves through a poor self-image or lens. And I've had calls with people who are 16 years old and they have an extremely high status and they have a very strong self-image. And just by their mere presence, they demand authority and respect. So what am I saying here? If you want to get better at closing deals and in fact close your first SMMA deal, you need to have status. And you might be thinking, well, how do I do that? How do I actually get status? Sorry, my words are breaking up here, but how do I actually get status? So I'm going to try and boil it down to about 3 steps. So the first step is you need to do the inner work. So the inner work is really how you see yourself. You need to work on your self-image. So there's a really good book called Psycho-Cybernetics, which goes into the mechanics of how you start to build a better self-image. So from a practical standpoint, you can start reading self-help books, things like Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, even Tony Robbins. All of these things will help you build a better self-image. You need to try and derive more worth and view yourself as a higher value person. So that's the first thing, is you need to have the right informational diet, the right inputs. So if you're constantly scrolling on social media, constantly listening to negativity, if you listen to emo, dark music, and you're constantly being cynical, you start to build a poor self-image. So instead, what you want to do is take in and absorb in positive things, reinforce positive things about who you are. I think for me, what really helped me is I realized and I came to the conclusion that there's no point in being negative. There's the only way to be is to be positive. Like, you've got to be a positive person, because what's the alternative? You're going to be a negative person, have a negative outlook on life. There's literally no point to that unless you want to fail. So everyone wants to succeed, but to succeed, you need to have a positive outlook. So just to wrap up that first point, is you need to have the right inputs in terms of information. Now, the second thing is that you need to build self-belief. So the way to build self-belief is to establish promises with yourself and then keep them. So for instance, if you want to lose weight and you set yourself a goal of, I'm going to lose 5 kilos, and then you don't lose 5 kilos, you start to doubt yourself. You start to go, maybe I'm just not a good person. Maybe I'm just not effective at trying to overcome certain things. And everyone starts from a different starting point. So it's not as though everyone starts on the same grounding. Some people have better genetics. Some people have poorer genetics. But the fact is that you need to be somebody who keeps promises to yourself. And when you start to actually believe your own stuff, like you believe, when I say something, I will do it. When I establish this habit, I'm going to do it. That will dramatically change your self-belief, so that when you get on a call with somebody and you have your own set of standards where you know that if you keep a promise, or if you're going to do a certain thing, you're going to actually do that to the full extent of your promise, then you can call out other people's BS, and you can have that high value, high status frame, because you have in your own personal journey overcome those things. Now, the alternative is if you're the guy who's constantly late, or you're constantly missing things, and you're constantly not keeping your own promises, you're undisciplined, you eat what you want, you're playing video games, although, video games are not that bad. It's an easy metaphor to use. If you're doing all these things and you don't have like the structure and discipline of an adult male, then when you get on a call, you're going to have low status because you feel bad about yourself. You need to feel good about yourself. When you feel good about yourself, you get on the call and you're like, what's up, mofo? Let's go, right? You want to have that approach to when you get on a call. So the second thing is you need to build self-belief. And I've just explained just then how to do that. Now, I would say the third thing is you need to keep yourself biologically in a good state. So if you come to calls and you've slept in, your diet's poor, you have super low energy, you just don't show up like you should, then you're going to struggle as well. There's something very important about tying your shoes extra tight, doing everything well, having a spirit or having a endeavor to be excellent. Like if you're the guy who's just doing and half-assing it, there's no point, because here's the thing, you might hate the job that you're in, but if you exceed the expectations of that role and be a type of person that is committed to excellence, it doesn't matter if you're in a job that you don't like. If you commit yourself to excellence and you show up with super high standards, people will notice that. And even if your boss doesn't notice it, you might come across a prospect or somebody in your day-to-day interactions that notices, wow, this guy is actually putting in effort. I love this quote. I kind of came up with it myself. I'm sure someone has thought of it before, but true effort always gets rewarded. So if you put true effort into things and you actually don't be a shitty person, put effort into things. And that includes showing up biologically. So going to bed on time, eating good food in the morning, not trashing yourself with caffeine, going to the gym, drinking lots of water, all those types of things that will actually show up on the call. So now what's crazy about this video is we haven't even talked about anything to do with sales. There's no objection handling training. There's no sales script. There's no how to ask questions. It's all been about inner work. So it all starts with the inner work. And the thing is, it doesn't really matter what you say on a sales call. It's the way that you show up on a sales call that will ultimately dictate how the call goes. So hopefully that was helpful. This will 100% help you crack that first SMMA deal. You don't want to show up like a nervous teenager. You want to show up like the dude that knows what he's doing, has authority, and you need to believe it yourself. So, here's an easy way to believe it yourself. Do the work. Spend a week learning marketing. Spend a week learning about a certain industry, and to the point where you're like, I've done this stuff. I've done the work, so that you've convinced yourself I'm worthy of talking about this subject because I've learnt it, right? So if you've gone through a 6-year law degree, you should be like, dude, I know this stuff. I've learnt this. I have the authority to speak about this. That will show up onto a call. You can't fake it. Like you can fake it to a degree, but you actually ultimately can't fake it. And why would you want to fake it when it only takes like a week of like really diligent effort to just learn the stuff that you need to learn and then implement it? Because what else are you doing? Playing video games, farting around, not doing dials. Like you have to put in the genuine effort and it will present itself on the call, and you will be a person with high value, high frame, high status, and you'll be able to 100% close more deals. Thanks for watching, guys. Speak to you soon.